I'm Kat.
I'm Hayley.
And this is Night Classy, the podcast where two teachers unwind, sip wine, and each teach a lesson we can't teach at school. What are we drinking, Hayley?
Ooh, we have fancy wine today. We have a 2018 14.5% Michael David Winery's Petite Petty. It is a red wine, as usual. It's really pretty. The labeling has on like a bunch of carnival type characters. This one has an elephant, 2 elephants actually. I read on their website that it's like a nod to like how full bodied and heavy this wine is.
Yeah, she is strong.
She's strong,
Yeah.
she's thick, and according to their website, flavored in layers of black cherry, cola, and light oak. I would not know that had I not read. I'm no wine connoisseur, but I like wine, and this is good wine.
Yeah, all I taste is like my mouth being assaulted because this stuff is strong. It's good, but it definitely took me a few sips before I was like, okay, I like it. Because at first I was like, whoa.
I liked it immediately, so I don't know what that says about me or what it says about you, but yeah, we've got wine. It came in a bottle, not just a box this
it's
week.
a pretty bottle too.
And we got it at High Point Grocery here in Memphis. It's this cute little store that it's like very small, but you just feel welcomed as soon as you walk in. We're really excited because we're being sponsored by them and partnering up to give us a wine of the week, and we get to go in and just interact with all the nice people at High Point Grocery. We also have a black box wine box here just in case
On
we
the
do run out of the wine. But yeah, that is what we're drinking this week. Both of them, both the box and the bottle, were $18.99. So for a reasonable price, you too can get lit.
Yeah, so lit. Yeah, we're just so excited to be partnered with High Point. It's in East Memphis, so if you're a Memphian, please go check them out. They're awesome in there. It's just, yeah, your cute little neighborhood grocery store with an awesome wine selection.
Yeah, there's a whole wall. I mean, I know a lot of places have a whole wall, but like their wall, it's like all artful, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm making sense.
It's just very nice and curated. And we talked to the alcohol buyer there, and he does a really good job. They also have a ton of local beers, and yeah, we're just really excited because the experts over there are gonna pick out a bottle of wine for us each week, and we're gonna try to like post our wines for the month at the beginning of the month on Instagram so that you guys can check it out and drink along with us if you want. So we're really excited.
Yeah, hopefully you're excited too about us ending the trope of drinking a box of wine every single week.
Yeah. No more Boda box pairs everywhere for us, at least for a little while.
Right. I mean, no lies, it does. But we're leveling up a little bit. We're getting bottles in addition to our queued up
Bottle
box.
service. Yes. Yeah. So we're excited. We're excited to talk about High Point. So thanks guys over at High Point. Check them out.
High Point.
Yeah. Well,
We're in 2021.
Yeah. First episode of 2021. How crazy is that?
It is crazy. We're almost to our 1-year anniversary of Night Classy.
Yeah. We have to do something special for that. Throw a little party in the studio or something.
Cake. Get really drunk.
Yeah. Get really drunk. And what kind of topic should we do? What kind of lessons?
Oh my God, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like we could choose any topic and our lessons would still be so far from the point, like so loosely attached.
That's true. Maybe we should do like listener suggestions, and like we can edit this out if you don't like that, but like write us in maybe like a fan suggestions for our 1 year. So if you have a topic we haven't covered that you really want to hear, That'd
be fun.
Yeah, slide into our DMs on Instagram or Twitter, or email us at nightclassypod@gmail.com, and we'll try to do that. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. We would not be here without you all listening. Mm-hmm. So help us help you.
Please give us some ideas. But yeah, we'll do fan picks and try to do maybe something else special. We're really excited. It's crazy. I guess I did expect this to last a year, but it's also like weird to look back at how far we've come.
I didn't expect it to go this well.
Yeah, exactly. I think that might be more accurate, but we're not there yet. So stay tuned.
I think anyone would actually listen to us.
Oh my gosh.
Just by tuning in and hearing the voice come out of my mouth, you are helping my dreams come true.
That's so wild. Thank you guys. Thank you in advance, because we're not there yet. We still have
we're still
10 more
ticking.
episodes. 2 more months. But like when we did start, we started recording this time last year, and like we recorded 7 before we ever like released any. So that's
right.
that's
And then it got
something.
weird with COVID because we were like, we don't know what's going to happen like the next day, the next hour. And we're like, maybe we should do this like on the actual week that it comes out now.
Oh yeah, that's right. Cause we were acting totally normal and talking about parties we went to on like the old episodes that we pre-recorded, and then it got awkward. And now we do it week to week so we can stay #relevant.
Thankfully. Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't have to go do voiceovers being like, this was before COVID. I'm
This
so
is
sorry.
not funny.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's that on that.
We go back to school this week.
Boo. Don't talk about that.
Okay. I
Don't
can't
talk
help
about
but talk about it
I don't want to talk about
or
it.
think about it. We don't have to talk about it.
I'm upset. Donate on Patreon so this can be our full-time job.
Virtual teaching is hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Teaching is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. But break has gone good. I got addicted to TikTok, so that's fun.
Yeah. I'm so excited to have you on the TikTok fam.
Yeah, I mean, I don't make anything, but I do sit there and scroll through and watch everything all day, every day.
We made a TikTok together. We did the dancing one.
We did do that.
It got 6 likes.
So follow us on TikTok.
People do not like it.
No, we did not do a very good job, but we tried our best.
We did. It took 4 hours about.
Probably more than that.
to learn it and put it
Yeah.
together. But what makes it so special, it's not just your average TikTok dance. It was actually a dance from episode 38, I believe, where Kat covered the producer who produced Friday.
Yeah, so we did the skip rope dance. We are not dancers by any stretch of the imagination. And so it took us a long time to learn that. And Alec was yelling at us the whole time, telling us to pop it instead of just like wiggle around. And
Yeah, I told you when Tommy saw the videos that we had on our story, he was like, it just looks like you're jumping. Like you're just jumping around. I was like, that's the dance though.
Right.
No.
That's not even close. Those like 8-year-olds in the music video did a way better job than we did.
Right. So if you want to see us make fools of ourselves on TikTok, check it out at Night Classy pod or podcast. You'll find it. Just search Night Classy.
Yeah, just to it'll be there. We've also been working on merch.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. By the time this comes out, it'll probably like almost be about to drop because we're going to order it in the next couple days, and we're excited. So
yeah, we've got some Stay Warm merch since we're in the winter months now. The Hose for Science t-shirt is not going to cut it.
yeah, no one wants to wear a hot pink t-shirt in the winter. So we've got some neutral colors, some
Hose
nice...
do get cold.
Yeah, hose definitely get cold. That's why you need like maybe a big like fur coat to wear with your Hose for Science shirt.
Faux fur.
Faux fur. Yes.
Faux fur, faux show.
Faux
fur show. That didn't work how I wanted it to. Dang it.
I liked it.
Slightly missed the mark. You get what I mean though.
Yeah, you guys understand. But yeah, we wanted to do like something neutral and like very affordable. The Hose for Science shirt was kind of expensive just because I had so many colors on it. So our next merch will be affordable. It'll be in neutral. We've got a crew neck sweatshirt and a black tee coming out. So keep your eyes out for that. It'll be posted on our Instagram and when it drops, and it's on Parasaur's website. You know what to do. Hit our link tree, click on the merch button. It's there. Or
Be
will
cool.
be. Yeah. Be
No
cool.
pressure or anything.
Yeah. Just if you want it. We don't want to force you.
You're going to like the way you look.
What is that, Kohl's?
No, it's like Men's Warehouse or something.
Really?
Or is it Joseph A. Bank?
It's Men's Warehouse.
Oh my God. Yes.
I mean, you will. You will.
Yeah, you will. But yeah, check that out. And I think that's everything I have.
Same here.
Cool.
This break has been very boring in the best way. So
yeah, it's just, I felt like I've been in this like weird fever dream where I sleep until 2 p.m. and then it gets dark out like 2 hours after I wake up. And then I go to sleep because it's dark out and I have nothing to do but scroll through TikTok. I don't know. It's been a weird depression fog, but still somehow better than work.
yeah, that and somehow, yeah. That and winter and Monday's going to be rough.
Yeah.
Pray for us.
Pray for us. Also, my birthday is soon. Next episode.
Oh my God.
Wait,
it's on.
It was yesterday.
What?
Oh,
Oh, yeah, after this comes out. But we'll celebrate my birthday next episode.
Yes, we
And
will.
The Bachelor. I mean, we're talking about things that like are gonna come out before this, but The Bachelor comes out on Monday.
Oh my gosh, it's been so nice to have just a week or 2 weeks off.
Oh, I know.
And then we're getting right back into it.
They should always do it like this. Like,
Yeah.
I think that like Rachel Lindsay should host The Bachelorette and Chris Harrison can keep hosting The Bachelor. And then like that way they each get time off and then there's no breaks. We just go bam, bam. Like
yes,
a
I
week in
could
between.
not agree more.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the week off because like I cleansed my mind, no priorities or anything. And now I'm ready again
Yeah.
to get wine drunk on a Monday night.
I'm so ready. And like, it's weird. Like I know pretty much nothing about Matt James, other than that he like broke quarantine quite a bit, but we're going to not talk about that. He has some cool girls on his season. I saw a tweet today on Reddit and it was like, there's a woman on Matt James's season who I guess once like went on like the subway from a party, like followed her on the subway like an hour or something in the wrong direction, like opposite than she was going, to like stop her from hooking up with a guy who was married because she didn't realize he was married. And so she like went to the rescue to like keep her from like doing that.
Oh, you sent that to me. And
Yeah.
I didn't understand it because I thought all three of them, the girl and the people who were going to hook up, were on the same subway. And I was like, why the heck did she wait an hour?
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. The tweets were kind of unclear, but it seems like she's a cool girl. So I'm excited to see her on there.
A noble bachelorette.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
Yes, me too. And his whole cast kind of seems really cool. I've been stalking them. I'm excited.
Yeah, you're always prepped. You're like, I know who the top 3 is. It hasn't even started yet.
I like spoilers, but I haven't seen any spoilers yet. So
You know what I'm going to do? Actually, I was thinking about today was Googling who wins Game of Thrones. And I think I'm going to do it. Speaking of
I
spoilers.
don't think you'll be shocked.
Oh, okay. Should I do it right now?
We need to keep watching Game of Thrones. We just need to.
I thought you canceled HBO.
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah, we really do.
Yeah.
We need to have a batch night, a Game of Thrones night.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, let's designate a night of the week because I think we've talked about it on the pod before. But like before Hayley and I got significant others, we spent 99% of our time sitting together on the couch watching Game of Thrones. And I mean, I've watched the whole series a few times, but Hayley hasn't. And so I was like wanting to show her it, and we got like halfway through, and then we each got a boyfriend, and then stopped.
That was
watching.
it from there. Oh
That was
my
it.
gosh. Yeah, I could use some extra quality time with you.
Yeah,
So
let's make
do
a
it.
day of it.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Well, anyway, sorry, listeners.
Yeah, it just took you on a fun little journey. But anyway, so we couldn't breathalyze because we still don't have a new breathalyzer. We're moving money around and making our budget for the next few months. So that
Working
hasn't
on it.
been purchased yet, but it will be soon. But I went first last time, so Hayley's going to go first this time.
Yeah, we'll just do a little flippity flop.
Switcheroony.
Okay, so last time, if you don't remember, go back to episode 42 was last week's. Okay, go back to episode 42 and you can listen. I did some Disney scandals and I promised a part 2 for Disney stuff. I said that I was going to do the background on some Disney stories or / movies. I actually ended up going with just one of them because I kind of got into a complete wormhole.
Yay.
And this is going to be an extremely comprehensive, like, true tale of The Little Mermaid.
Yes, I'm so glad it was this one.
Me too. It is my personal favorite Disney movie. Yeah, so let's get into it. So it was initially written by Hans Christian Andersen in Copenhagen, Denmark, and was published in 1837. Since then, it's been adapted into musicals, anime, ballet, opera, and of course, movies. As we know, Disney came out with The Little Mermaid in the 90s. But The Little Mermaid, the animated movie, was based on, you know, the OG Little Mermaid by Hans Christian Andersen. So
I'm sorry, I blinked. When did he write it?
it was published in 1837. Okay. And I don't know what to do first because I have a little like history on Hans Christian and like his inspiration for it. Yeah, I'll just do that first and then we'll do a little dissection of how his Little Mermaid is different or similar to Disney's. So the entire story of The Little Mermaid was inspired by real life hurting in Hans Christian Andersen's life. So he was known to flirt with both men and women. And as you can imagine, in the 1800s, being openly queer was not accepted. But he was particularly taken with one man named Edvard Collin, and this was the son of one of Hans' greatest patrons and donators.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
patrons, not Patreon.
patrons, yeah.
Oh, I thought that was the joke. Was that he was a Patreon?
Oh no, I just can't read.
What was his name? Edvard?
Edvard, yeah, is that how
Shout
you say
out
it?
to Edvard, $5 a month.
Yeah. His dad definitely was a Patreon. He gave him that money. But Edvard, on the other hand, didn't really care about Hans. He was just like, meh, he's just this guy that my dad brings around and gives money to. But then Hans started helping Edvard with his Latin and his grammar, and they became close. And on Edvard's end of things, it was really only ever as friends. But Hans really liked him romantically. Their friendship continued despite Hans' aggressive efforts to woo Edvard. Like he sent him letters, poems, flowers. Hans would send Edvard all of his writing, all of his work so that he could read it before anyone else could. And
if your friend is being creepy to you, you have no obligation to stay friends with them.
yeah.
Like regardless of gender and sexuality, like that's a weird behavior.
It's a bit much. And like Edvard also told him that like it just wasn't the same. It's not like he was just oblivious.
Yeah.
And eventually Edvard announced his engagement to a woman, and Hans was completely crushed by that. He wrote this long emotional letter to Edvard expressing his displeasure because Edvard had been like, listen, I know that you feel a certain type of way about me. I think you're a worthy friend, but it's not like that.
And we're positive they weren't hooking up and it was like completely one-sided.
I don't know why Hans would like continue to try and gain like his heart if they weren't like something.
Right.
And they didn't live near each other for a little while, especially like years to come.
Okay.
And they would hang out. I mean, maybe they were. Edvard didn't say anything about it in his memoir. And Hans was always like, Edvard, like, why don't you love me?
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. And so Hans wanted more. He wasn't going to get it. And so he took to his writing, and that's how we got The Little Mermaid. It has many parallels with Hans' life. Instead of going through all of them, I'm just going to talk about The Little Mermaid. But one of the biggest ones was like, she can't talk for a certain part of the story. And that parallels like how he couldn't talk about, being in love with a man. Just check it out yourself. I don't want this lesson to be too long because I think it's already going to be a long one.
That's all right. Mine's kind of short.
Okay, cool. Let's dive into the actual story of The Little Mermaid because believe it or not, there are some differences between the actual story that was written by Hans in the 1800s and the 1990s Disney animated version. Okay, if you haven't seen The Little Mermaid, you don't have to have seen it to hear this next part. Anyway, so in the animated version, King Triton is the one who takes care of the Little Mermaid and all of her sisters, but it's actually the grandmother, and the King of the Sea was a widower. He's kind of like out of the picture. But there are 6 mermaid children, all girls, and the youngest was the prettiest, most fairest of them all. Hans never gives anyone a name, though the mermaid we know as Ariel is always referred to as the youngest.
Oh.
Yeah. So I had to go through my notes and like edit all the Ariels into the youngest. Thank God for Control F. But she's the youngest. Each mermaid gets their own little garden to tend to. They get to really have complete control over their gardens. They choose what shape, what color plant they would like to have. And the youngest chooses all red. Everything is red in her garden. She was obsessed with how the sun looked from underneath the water. And she has this beautiful red tree in the middle of her garden. And underneath the tree, she's placed a marble statue of a human boy that has fallen from the water's surface. And, you know, like you do when you're 15 years old, you like practice kissing on inanimate objects.
She
Maybe not
makes out with the
15.
statue.
Yeah. Well, she wasn't even 15
Hot.
yet, but yeah, she loves this statue. She thinks he's so handsome.
Did you ever play when I was in like first or second grade, like we'd play on the playground that we had boyfriends, like me and my friends, and we'd like just like make up like what our boyfriend is like and what his name is. And like,
oh yeah, we would have like husbands full on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was more of a house situation than like a bachelorette type
Oh
deal.
no, we were all about the bachelorette type deal. I think we wanted to be high schoolers and have like a boyfriend who was on like the baseball team, and his name is Brad. And like looking back, it's like that's disgusting. That's the worst. But like that's what we wanted.
It's a lot cooler than my like childhood imagination went to. I wanted to be like a colonial woman, married, making bread all the time.
I mean, in retrospect, that sounds better.
Yeah, bread is great. That was my main thing. It was
Bread.
like we would like put up these towels on the side of the play set to make it like seem like a wagon, like covered in what is it called? Like the tarp, basically.
Yeah, covered wagon.
Yeah.
That's
so
fun.
just two types of girls in this world.
Well, I would also pretend to be a horse and like run around whinnying. So I don't know.
You would have fit in great with
I would have been your horse for your colonial carriage.
I think you would have done a great job. You would have been well fed.
What would you have named me?
I wonder. I don't know. That's a good question. Claudia. Claudia Severa.
Just can't think of anything else.
No, I can't.
Who names
That's
a
all-
horse Claudia?
I don't know. I'm trying to be creative, but my brain isn't working. I don't know. Little Sebastiana.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm upset.
I know. I'm sorry. Your sticker's right there. I just saw it. But yeah, I was a pioneer woman. You were a horse / high schooler. And the youngest mermaid was just a mermaid living that mermaid life, enjoying her garden. And one of the mermaid rules was that you couldn't surface to the water until you were 15 years old. So
that means you can't have sex until you're 15.
they're wet all the time. You can't get dry. Can't get dry till you're 15. Yeah, so all of her sisters were having sex, aka going to the surface and telling her about it, and she was like, I want to go to the surface so bad. Like, it sounds great. Like, there are birds. What the fuck are birds? Like, I want to see birds. But she couldn't because she wasn't 15 yet. But her older sisters tell her about how they really like to go to the surface when they see a ship above, and especially when there are storms and the ships are going to sink. They'll go up to the edge of the boat in the water and they sing to the sailors about how great it is under the water and come join us under the sea.
Ooh, they're creepy as fuck.
Yeah, they're creepy like sirens.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna die anyway, you may as well see a mermaid before you go.
Hell yeah, I would love
Yeah.
to see a mermaid. So that's what they did for fun. That's like a hell of a lot more fun than what I did in high
Oh my
school.
God.
Like, I made fires in a fire pit in the backyard, played Ghosts in the Graveyard. Like, that was fun, but like
Yeah.
luring sailors to their death also sounds great.
Sounds pretty fun.
Another thing about mermaids is that they cannot cry because, according to Hans, it's because they're underwater. So they can't cry. They can't let any of their sadness out. So all their sadness gets bottled up inside of them.
Aww.
Yeah.
He
And-
couldn't cry because he's a man.
Exactly. He couldn't cry because he's a man and it's the 1800s
Yeah.
and things are just bad. It's just all bad.
Toxic AF.
The youngest feels the same way. She turns 15 years old and she's so angsty to get up to the surface, but they're having this whole party for her. And when she turns 15 years old, she lets the grandma clasp 8 oysters to her tail. That's a thing that mermaids do to show their like position socially. So the average, like the highest amount of oysters you could have was like typically 6, but she got 8 on this day.
Why'd she get 8?
The grandmother was very vain. The grandmother wore 15 at all times.
Oh,
She was very gaudy. But anyway, when she claps the 8 oysters to her tail, I almost said Ariel, the youngest is like, oh my God, this really hurts. But her grandmother's like, pride must suffer pain. And so that's a little foreshadowing about what's to come.
it's like getting your belly button pierced
Yeah.
when you're 15.
You got to risk it to get the biscuit. And by biscuit, I mean belly button clap. Yeah, and it does. Pride does suffer for pain, I guess. So she goes to the surface for the first time, 15th birthday. You know, she's got all her oysters queued up on her tail, looking hot. And just like in the movie, when she surfaces, that just sounds so wrong now that you said it. It's like they're having sex. When she surfaces, she sees this celebration going on a ship. There's like streamers and stuff, and there's like fireworks. I couldn't think of the word. Yeah, there's fireworks. They call it rockets in the story, not they. Hans calls it rockets. But she spots this handsome prince, and she is completely enthralled by the looks of him, despite all the celebrations going on around them. And so when this storm erupts, she doesn't realize even right away that the ship is in serious trouble. Like, it's gonna go down. And when she does realize that the ship is going down, she's excited to have the prince come into the ocean. And she's like, I want to show you my palace. But then as he's in the water, she's like, oh my God, like he's gonna be dead if I take him under the surface. No, she's like, she doesn't really know anything about humans or anything like that. Yeah, she's a young mermaid.
Did you read this story or did you read?
Yeah, I did read it. Yeah. I have a few sources that I pulled information from, but I did read it, and it was surprisingly easily digested, I would say. She brings him back to the surface and carries him in her arms above the water as she swims all night while stroking his head and kissing him and just wishing he would be hers. And then she's like looking at him as she's swimming along, taking him back to the beach. And she's like, oh my gosh, he looks just like my statue.
Oh, and she's like also like, fuck you to everyone else on that ship.
Yeah, she's like, one and done.
I want the
this
cute
is
one.
Yeah, she doesn't
That's
even
pretty privilege.
She doesn't even see everyone else. Yeah, like she could easily like fucking whistle and like have her whole mermaid squad pulled up to save this ship. No, knowing her sisters, they would just sing to them and lure them into the ocean. So yeah, the prince is the only one who gets saved. They get to the shore and there's some sort of building nearby the beach. So the youngest mermaid decides it's probably safe enough to just leave him there. And then eventually this bell rings and a bunch of little girls come out onto the beach. And the youngest and most beautiful of these human girls that came out of this building spots the prince, and she's like, oh my God, like there's someone, there's someone. So they call guards, they save him, they bring him back to the castle, all of that. If you're familiar with the Disney movie, you already know this next part, but in the animated movie, when they get to the beach, Ariel does save Prince Eric from a drowning ship, from a sinking ship. She sings to the prince before getting scared off by his dog on the beach. And that doesn't happen in this written version. There's no song that links his memories to the youngest mermaid. So now there's these two young, beautiful beings that saved him, but it's unclear what he'll remember. So the youngest mermaid gets really sad, but mermaids can't cry, so she just gets like extra sad, like it just all bottles up even more.
She just starts listening to Skrillex and like screaming in her dark bedroom.
She like twitches under the water, like that's how mermaids dance. Yeah, and she starts wearing really dark eyeliner, and the statue in her garden is the only thing that brings her comfort, basically. She neglects all of her other responsibilities, and her garden becomes extremely overgrown.
Is that her pubes?
Yes. It is her red plants, because she has red hair. There you go. Thank goodness her statue is marble.
What? He can't grow pubes.
He can't grow pubes. He's solid, always rock
ready
hard.
to go.
Oh God. This is taking a terrible turn. I
Also,
didn't
we have
expect.
to remember she's 15.
Yeah,
I keep
fresh
forgetting.
15. Okay. I mean,
Sorry.
it was the 1800s. Who knows what went on then?
Different time.
They are mermaids, so.
And she's a mermaid, and this is all fiction.
How do mermaids have sex, though?
Maybe like salmon, they just squirt their semen onto eggs.
Maybe so. Maybe in the belly button.
I found out how eels reproduce the other day.
Is it weird?
Yeah, they don't have sexual organs until the end of their life cycle, and then they grow them. Just to reproduce, and then they die.
Oh my gosh. So they're like thinking with a clear head all the time until they're about to die.
Yeah, they're the final life form. They're unburdened.
Oh wow. Okay, good to know.
Are you going to correct me, Alec?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, they just found that out.
Yeah, for a long time they didn't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because the eels will, like, they, like, breed in the Bermuda Triangle. And as, like, microscopic little nymphs, they'll swim all the way to, like, upstate New York and live for, like, 50 years. So people would be finding eels and none of them had reproductive systems. But it was because they made that huge swim.
That's so crazy. I do remember hearing about how they make that crazy swim, but I forgot about it. Remember on Survivor when that guy just like stabbed that eel in the water?
Yeah, that wasn't Survivor.
Oh,
that was Naked and Afraid. And it was huge.
Yeah, I don't fuck with eels.
Oh, yeah, that's an electric eel.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
It's electric.
And he was electrocuting himself to stab the eel. Do you remember that? Man, I would rather die. I don't know why anyone does that show.
Yeah.
Looking at that disgusting giant eel, it was like the size of an anaconda. It was huge.
Yeah, it was nasty.
Yeah, no thank you.
And there are eels in this story. So now we have an extra layer of education here on Night Classy. Okay. What were we saying? We're talking about how the youngest mermaid was very sad because she really likes this guy that she saw drowning on a ship and she saved him. And so she confides in one of her sisters about what happened with what we'll find out was the prince. And you know, young girls are going to talk. Her sister tells one of her friends and one of her friend's sisters, you know, word just gets around about Ariel's. Gosh, darn it. I missed this one, I guess. Misspelled it. The word gets out about the youngest sadness. And one of the friends of a friend's comes to the youngest mermaid and she's like, I know who you're talking about. I've seen him before. Here's his name. Here's his kingdom. So if you just like want to go to him, you know, go to him because they don't have Facebook. They don't have Instagram under the sea. So Ariel had to do stalking the old fashioned way. And she just swam up to his palace. And then
how?
She's a mermaid. How does she swim or what?
Oh, well, I don't. Isn't the palace on land?
It is on land, but it's right there on the beach. And there's a canal that she swims into.
That's lucky.
It's very, it's almost like this was completely written up to perfection. It is lucky. It's lucky for us, the readers. It's lucky for the youngest mermaid because she swims up to this canal and just wades underneath his balcony every night for months just so she can watch him whenever he comes out onto the balcony.
Ariel's real creepy. And maybe like a Hans Christian Andersen. Maybe he had some self-awareness because it seems like if that guy he liked really did not reciprocate at all, if that's true, he was being real creepy to his friend and Ariel's being real creepy to this prince.
Took a long time for Hans to figure it out though. And she is being real creepy. And it just made me think about what are the things that I did for boys that were creepy or not? When I was 15, I don't know. I mean, I made a desk for a guy when I was in high school.
I baked an apple pie for a guy in middle school.
Damn, in middle school?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was in love.
See, when you're in love, whether it be from the guy in algebra or in love with the guy who just drowning and you save him, you're in love, I guess.
You're in love. I don't think I was ever creepy though. I don't think so
either. I don't think so either. I think I've done one thing that accidentally was creepy.
Actually, I did have like a guy best friend in high school who I was like in love with, and he did not reciprocate. And I'd like he knew I was like, I'd like tease him about it, like joking, not joking.
That's like that hurts a little bit to think about. You're laughing.
It was a hit to my ego.
You don't cry. That's exactly.
But we were
what
good enough friends that I could be like, I like you, and he's like, yeah. LOL.
Maybe
I guess I was creepy too.
Lifetime. I was like, there are things that are borderline creepy where you like accidentally text someone a bunch of gibberish, you like accidentally call them, and then they're like, what? Yeah. And you're like, oh, sorry, butt text. Yeah. That's like borderline. But yeah, there are some things that are just over the line, like going to someone's house every single night and standing underneath their balcony.
Yeah, that's bad. Don't do that.
She also overheard a bunch of fishermen talking about how great the prince is, and that made her fall even more in love. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is the first time she gets any like anecdotal evidence about who he is as a person ever. Like everything else has been based entirely on the fact that he cannot swim and that he's handsome.
I mean, when you're hot, you're hot.
I wonder what that's like because
me too, but like sometimes you see a hot guy and you're like,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I don't care what he's like.
She doesn't.
I don't care if he's a Republican.
Oh,
just kidding. I do.
We do care. Long hair do care. She constantly dreams about the night she rescued him, and she dreams about how she was macking on him without his consent. And then she gets sad about how he probably doesn't even remember her. But then she ignores that and keeps dreaming about kissing him again.
There you go.
There is no deterrent for her stalking. Like I said, it goes on for months. She falls even more in love, gets even more infatuated with the prince. And she really just falls in love with the humans and their lifestyle in general. She learns things about forests, mountains, like I said before, birds. She's amazed by birds. Like when her grandma told her about it, she called them like land fish or something so that Ariel could understand it. I guess no one told her about like climate change and salmon farms, but
that wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, there was the Ice Age and then it wasn't the Ice Age anymore. So.
Do they know that?
I don't know. I'm just being stupid.
They told her about dinosaurs.
Yeah, what could you learn back then? Oh, yeah. She just wanted to be where the people were. But sad joke. I'm sorry.
But gotta sing it.
She wants to be where the people are. She wants to have legs. Da, 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 da. That's not the line.
She'll do anything to get the legs.
Literally anything. She goes to her grandma to learn more about humans. And the grandma's like, all right, here's the down low. Mermaids live 300 years. And when they die, they become foam in the ocean.
Ugh.
Yeah. So just think about that next time you got a foamy ocean in front of you and you dive in. And so humans live shorter, but they have immortal souls. So when they die, they rise up and they go into this unknown world we'll never see because we're mermaids. And that's the dealio. Mm-hmm. So as you can imagine, the youngest mermaid was not pleased by this. She's like, I want an immortal soul. I want to float into the unknown with Sky Daddy.
I mean, it does sound pretty tight.
It does. I wish it was true. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Anyway, the grandmother tells her that it's just better under the sea. Under the sea. And it's just better, basically, compared to how humans live up on land. Life is just the bubbles under the sea. And Ariel, damn it, the youngest The
You
youngest
should call her
mermaid.
TY.
I did. That's what I literally, after typing the youngest literally twice, it's TY all caps. But I also am struggling with typing with my like long nails that I did on
that is
Christmas.
hard.
And I've been like with my fingertips. It's been really hard. So I definitely missed a ton of Ariels. Anyway, the youngest begs grandmother to tell her how to get an immortal soul. And grandmother's like, I mean, all you have to do is get a man to fall in love with you. He has to love you more than his mother and more than his father. Oh, what else? Oh, yeah. All of his thoughts have to be about how much he loves you. And then he lets a priest take his right hand, put it in yours, and he promises to be true to you and for the rest of eternity.
So you have to get married.
Basically, but more than that.
Okay.
All of those things. Like he literally has to love you more than he loves his mom and his dad and all that jazz.
Okay.
It's like a magic thing. And then once all of that happens, his soul will leave his body and go into you and basically duplicate so that you as the mermaid can become human. And then his soul goes back to him and you both have immortal souls and are human. And that's how you do it.
There's a little switcheroo.
Yeah, a little separation, little crisscross, little
jumpy
flippity flop. And she follows that up with being like, yeah, but it's a sweet youngest mermaid. That will never happen because legs are pretty and fishtail are gross to humans.
True.
So
True.
good luck. Yeah,
I would
it is.
not want to get with a fishtail.
Me either. What are you going to do? I don't have eggs to just squirt out. What I have is questions about this whole scenario. So the youngest goes on her way and life is pretty much a drag as a 15-year-old who just wants to be where the people are.
It's a 15-year-old fish.
Yeah. Hey, half fish.
Also, I'm wondering like if their lifespan is 300 years. 15 would be like a baby.
Yeah, that's true. 15 in mermaid years. What's the, I don't know what the conversion
multiply
is.
it by a little more than 3. So it'd be like
45.
Yeah, 50, a little more than 3 because you don't live quite 100 years usually.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So about 15 to us. Who knows what it could be in mermaid years?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? All I know, they have a lot of balls, like dances, and they have a ball one day. And at this point, the youngest mermaid realizes that all of the things that it requires to have an immortal soul apply to her in this moment. She loves the prince. She loves him more than she loves her mom and her dad. She thinks about how much she loves him all the time. And she would commit to being eternally his. So she's like, I'm going to sneak out while they're having this ball. I'm going to swallow my fears and I'm going to go visit the sea witch. That's what I would call you as a horse, sea witch. Instead of sea biscuit, I would call you sea witch.
That's a good name for a horse.
I know.
Sea witch.
That's your second alter. That's your horse name.
Oh, and you could call her Witchy.
Witchy. Oh, that's very cute.
Could be a black horse.
You've got to wait for good things. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
Thank you.
So she goes to visit the sea witch. The Disney comparison is different. Should I even go through the Disney comparison or should I just tell you what happens in the actual one?
Maybe like quickly.
Okay. I'm just going to not ramble through this. I'm going to read through this quickly. Okay. So in the Disney version, Ursula is the sea witch in the Disney version. Ursula comes into the movie earlier on than in this story. She uses her eels, which are like her pets, to spy on Ariel, the mermaid, so she can hopefully use the information that she gets to take over King Triton, King of the Sea's power. And when Triton has his little fit where he like destroys everything in Ariel's little layer of human things, Ursula's eels lead Ariel in her sadness to Ursula's cave, where Ursula ends up playing a central role, makes like basically the deal with the devil, and the movie continues on. In this version, the sea witch is not a central role at all. The sea witch does live in a faraway off section in the ocean. It's difficult to get to this place. The youngest has to swim past a dangerous whirlpool. She has to swim over mud flats that could, suck her in. I don't really know what mud flats are, and I didn't look it up. She also has to go through a scary forest with these like half plant, half human things that would try to grab her, just like in the movie, like those poor poor unfortunate souls. And it's also full of human remains that are just partially decomposed.
Ew.
Yeah, super gross. And also there are some mermaid remains from those who have been strangled by the poor unfortunate souls over the years.
But I thought they turned into foam.
I guess not in this evil forest.
Okay.
Yeah, which is also, I guess, how fish don't eat the humans who have died in shipwreck.
Yeah. Fish don't even go there. They're too scared.
Yeah, it's fiction. Suspend your disbelief. So the scary witch lives in a den. It's decorated and built with the bones of drowned humans. So I'm guessing she ate the meat off the human bones or something to make her house. I don't know. But anyway, the sea witch does not want the youngest mermaid's voice. She just wants to get paid for the magic that she's going to do for what the youngest mermaid wants, which is to become a human. She has no problems with like the royalty of the sea or anything like that. She's really just like a loner at the edge of society. So the sea witch, also when she meets her, the sea witch has a frog in her mouth that she like pets.
Ew.
Yeah. And she likes to hold her fins close to her chest. Like she's like kind of all wrapped up and she like is petting this
She's
frog
weird
in
as
her
fuck.
mouth. Yeah, she's weird as fuck. No wonder she lives at the edge of society. And when she gets there, the sea witch is like, I know why you're here. And the youngest is like, okay, can you help me? And the sea witch thinks that it's a stupid wish to become a human that will only bring the youngest mermaid suffering, but she'll do it. And also included in the story is that it was a good thing that she came that day because otherwise it would have been another 100 years before she could do that magic.
Oh, also like what is the witch? Is she also a mermaid?
Yeah, she's also a mermaid.
Okay. How'd she become a witch?
Maybe she's born with it.
Okay.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe she's a witch. Okay. Okay. So she concocts this potion and the sea witch tells Ariel what will happen when she drinks the potion. She's like, okay, so your tail will turn into legs and it will hurt a ton. Like just like if you had an actual tail separated, like there's no Disney magic here. She's like, it's going to be like a knife being plunged into your tail and ripping it into two pieces.
Yeah.
But you'll be the most beautiful human and you will walk and dance with unbelievable grace. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I'd take it.
But every time you take a step and your foot touches the ground, it will feel like there's a million knives going into the bottom of your foot.
I feel like you'd get used to it.
I don't know if you would. Living with chronic pain.
That's true. I don't want to.
You could just finesse your way into like getting wheeled around or something.
That's true. And like if you're a lady, like maybe you could just have people like carry you around.
I think that's what Ariel's depending.
Yeah.
Damn it. I think that's what the youngest mermaid is relying on.
Yeah.
Also, if I say Ariel and I'm talking about the youngest, I apologize.
I think you can just call her Ariel.
Okay. Changing from here on out, Ariel. And if we're talking about the movie, I'll say movie Ariel or something. Okay. So she tells Ariel about all of the circumstances if she takes the potion. And Ariel's like, yes, I'll do it. And the sea witch is like, all right, but also you can't return to being a mermaid. If you decide that you want to come back, there's no coming back. You have to make the prince fall in love with you on all of the levels. Just like your grandmother said, he has to be in love with you more than his mother and his father. He has to commit all that jazz.
If he's not in love with her, does she stay a human?
Here is what happens.
Okay.
So if he marries another girl, the day of his marriage, or I guess guy, I don't want to submit to the gender binary. If he marries another person, your heart will break that night and then you will just become foam on the ocean. So she doesn't get the eternal soul. She just becomes foam like everyone else. So there's no time limits like there are in the Disney movie. And this is like one of the last ways to see which is even involved. So the mermaid, Ariel, just has to pay for the potion, which requires a ton of the sea witch's blood. So she agrees to it. And the extra price is that the mermaid has to pay for it with her tongue. So the sea witch cuts her chest, bleeds into this freshly cleaned cauldron, and makes this potion. And then before giving the youngest mermaid the potion, she cuts off her tongue. So she's tongueless. She has her potion. She's ready to go. And on her way out, the sea witch is like, hey, if any of my little like garden friends give you any trouble, just pour some of the potion on them and they'll disintegrate into tiny pieces. Okay, bye. So we're left wondering, like, what the fuck is this potion going to feel like when the youngest mermaid ingests it? Like, oh gosh, what's about to happen? Okay, so in comparison with the Disney movie, Ariel wakes up on the beach. She has no voice in the movie. She has legs, but she can't walk really well. And she, with the help of her fish and bird friend, make a makeshift dress out of ship sails. And then Eric, the prince in the movie, finds her and likes her so much that he brings her into the palace and she's like all posted up. In Han's version, the youngest swims up to the ocean, oh my gosh. In Han's version, the youngest mermaid swims up to the shore and downs the potion. I almost said poison. It practically is poison. And the sea witch is not a liar. The poison makes her tail Damn it. The potion makes her tail feel like it's being separated by a sword. It is the absolute worst pain. The youngest mermaid passes out and literally looks dead on the shore. And that's exactly how the prince finds her. She wakes up after being like dried out by the sun for an entire day with the prince standing over her. And she's all nasty and sunburnt and stuff. And again, there's no Disney magic here at all. She's completely naked and like quickly tries to cover herself up with her hair. Here's a quick little picture you can see.
I mean, she's still cute though.
Yeah, she's really
cute. It
cute.
looks like a medieval storybook looking thing, and she's just a naked girl covered in hair and seaweed.
Yeah. That's essentially what happens. She can't answer any questions because her tongue is cut out. And the prince is like, okay, well, we've got to get like this person some help. But when she gets up, she does walk very smoothly. And people are like outwardly impressed with how smooth she walks and how beautifully she walks. I've never thought that about a person, but maybe I'm just not looking hard enough for that.
I mean, she
walker.
must just been giving off like total like model vibes. Like,
Yeah,
she's
must
just
have been
strutting down the catwalk.
Also, she's naked.
Yeah.
So people liked it. They get her to the palace, get Ariel cleaned up, put her in some silk clothes, and then they make her a slave girl.
Good.
Yes, all the other slave girls are also dressed in silk and they sing for the prince. But since the little mermaid can't do that, she busts a move with her graceful little self.
They make her dance.
They don't make her dance. She just decides to do it all by herself.
Oh, good.
Since she's the most beautiful human and she can dance really well. It's totally worth it. The prince really likes her. He starts calling her his little foundling. Yeah. And then he's like, I really like you. Will you sleep on a pillow outside of my bedroom door from now on? That can be your little special spot.
What the fuck? What?
Yeah. So basically he treats her like a pet.
Yeah, that's ew.
He ends up having male clothes made for her so she can go on like horsebacking trips with him throughout the mountains. And they go on hikes and she just like suffers through all the pain in her feet, even though it's like really awful. And she just like smiles through it like a crazy person.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And she can't even talk. So how is he ever going to actually love her?
He's not.
Yeah.
And the little mermaid starts to wonder if the prince ever will love her. She's so in love with him and falls more in love with him every single day. And one day he's like, I love you so much. Like, you're like a daughter to me, which is
also creepy.
Yeah. It's like so much worse than the friend zone.
Yeah.
Like the daughter zone.
The daughter zone.
The offspring zone. Oh God.
Yeah.
And as he's opening up to her about his feelings, he's like, you know, you just remind me so much of someone I'll never see again. One time I was in this shipwreck and I was saved by this young girl when I was washed up on the beach. I only ever saw her that one time. She's the only one I'll ever love.
How does he not know it's the same girl?
Because he's a dumb man.
I guess.
Not to single out all men, but
Yes, all men.
Yeah, he's just dumb. But he's like, but it comforts me to know how much you look like her because that's the only one I'll ever love. She belongs to the Holy Temple on the beach and she's like gonna become a nun or something.
Why did he think that?
Because she was like with all the girls in the Holy Temple.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So the youngest mermaid is really sad. She can't cry, so her grief compounds.
She still can't cry.
No. Yeah, that is a dumb fact.
Yeah.
She's still a mermaid at heart. She can't cry. And the prince is getting older. His biological clock is it's a ticking.
What?
So
No.
I know. But they still think he needs to get married.
Okay.
So the prince has a ship built so that he can go to the neighboring kingdom and scope out this young hot princess he's heard all about. And before he leaves, he tells the Little Mermaid, he's like, if I had to marry anyone, I would marry you, my foundling.
But he just said she was like his daughter.
Yeah.
Ew.
And then he kisses her on the mouth, plays with her hair, and lays his head on her chest.
So this guy has issues.
He has issues and she can't even see it.
Yeah.
She likes it a lot. She was really happy. And then, oh my God, get this. Okay, so the prince goes on to express like how happy he is that she isn't afraid of the ocean. And he goes on to explain how the ocean works. He's like, yeah, divers have seen really big whales and there's like fish in there. And you just wouldn't believe, I just like am so impressed that you're not afraid of it.
So he just mansplains. Also, I just keep thinking back to how this symbolizes Hans and Edvard's relationship. And like maybe everything Edvard said, he's like, we have a platonic relationship. Like I'm straight, I'm going to marry a woman. But like also like sent these signals, like kissed her on the mouth and like took her everywhere and took him everywhere. Yeah. It was probably a balance.
It seems like because in one of his memoirs, he said that the three of them hung out, like Edvard and his wife and Hans. And so they like kept a steady relationship and friendship going.
Yeah. It was probably super complicated.
Yeah.
I don't want to just like say that Hans is a creep when it sounds like, I mean, if this mermaid relationship reflects their real life relationship, like
there
he might have been sending signals
going on. Yeah. Extra things. It's all a layer. It's like an onion. Yeah. So just like Edvard in real life, he goes to see this like really young, pretty girl in the neighboring kingdom. And wouldn't you believe it? It was the young lady who saved his ass on the beach that one fateful night. The human one. The one who...
But I thought you said the girls who found him were like parts of the temple.
Yeah, that's what he thought too. But she was just there learning about morals, I guess, and how to become more virtuous.
Did a great job.
That just adds to it. He's like, I'm the happiest man alive. And he tells the Little Mermaid that he's like, I know you'll be happy for me because you're the one who loves me most. And then he kisses her hand. And this literally breaks her heart. His wedding date is set and it's just downhill from there. In the Disney version, basically Ursula shows up in this hot bod. She manipulates Eric with magic. They go to get married. It doesn't work out and Ariel and Eric end up happily ever after. There's a lot more, but this lesson is taking a really long time. So I'm just trying to get things rolling here. I apologize for how long this is taking.
Don't apologize.
But in the Hans version, they're at the wedding and the youngest is actually assigned to be the one who holds up the bride's veil as she walks down the aisle step by step. So
it's humiliating.
It's painful because of the knives going into her feet. And like you said, it's like really symbolic of the true life relationship going on between Hans and Edvard because it's, the Little Mermaid was just in the shadow.
Best man?
I don't know. That's a good question. I didn't read anything about that. We need to get to the bottom of that. So they get hitched, the prince and the new princess. They're dancing. There's music. Of course, the Little Mermaid is the most elegant dancer of them all. And despite all of the pain in her feet and in her heart, because she's really sad because she knows she's looking death in the eyes, she just tries to have a good time. The prince and the wife go off to their little honeymoon tent that's on the ship, and the youngest mermaid goes to the edge of the ship to become foam. And when she does this, a bunch of little heads pop up out of the sea, and it's all of her sisters, but they have no hair. They're like, so we sold our hair to get this magic knife from the sea witch, and it can save you. Do you want it? And so the youngest is like, yeah, what do I have to do? And they're like, okay, all you have to do is take the dagger, plunge it into the prince's chest, and then cover your feet with his blood. And then once this happens, you'll be a mermaid again.
Oh no, that's dark.
Yeah, it's really dark. And the youngest thinks about it. She's like, oh gosh, well, it's either you or it's me. So she goes to the honeymoon tent where the prince and the princess are asleep, and she kisses the prince. She looks at the princess, who kind of like moves in her sleep a little bit. And then she looks out to the sky and back to the prince, and kind of back and forth for a little bit while she's like, God, should I do this? And she ultimately decides not to. She throws the dagger out into the sea, and when it hits the water, it releases a ton of blood into the ocean.
Ooh.
Yeah. And the youngest mermaid throws herself into the sea, into that blood, and she feels herself turn to foam. But then, surprise, she can still feel the water and everything. She actually sheds a tear, and it doesn't feel like death to her. She sees a bunch of airy spirits bopping around in the sky, and she's like, where am I? And then the audience is like, oh, she has her voice back. She asked like vocally where she was. And it turns out she joined the rise of the Daughters of the Wind. And this was because of her good deeds. All of these spirits are in the Daughters of the Wind. They have mortal souls, just like her. They're all like mermaid people, but they can earn immortal souls through 300 years of good deeds on Earth. So she gets a chance to have an immortal soul.
I'm sorry. She's a wispy spirit in the ocean, but she has to do good deeds on Earth for 300 years. And then she gets what?
She can go around Earth, and then she gets her immortal soul. And
So
she
she
can
goes
like
to
live on
heaven.
forever. Yeah, she goes to heaven. And they can go all over the world. But here's a weird thing. They can, like I said, they can go all over the globe if they come across a good kid. Like, just if they experience or interact with a good kid, they get a year taken off their initial 300 years. But if they cross paths with a bad kid, they get a year added.
What?
Yeah, to like no discretion to like how they actually are doing as a daughter of the wind.
And what makes a good kid or a bad kid?
I don't know. And then the next morning, Prince and Princess wake up to look at the sunset, and the prince is like, I just really feel like Ariel threw herself off the side of the boat. Do you get that? Do you feel that in the air? And the princess is like, yeah, big time. And they shrug and just never find out.
I mean, based on the way he's acted the whole time, that part makes total sense.
And yeah, Ariel in the wind, she's in her spirit form. She kisses the prince's forehead, or no, she kisses the princess's forehead and smiles at the prince and takes off to do her wind angel shit. And that's the end of the story.
She's a win. I'm more confused than when this started.
She's a wind girl now.
Okay. Wow, I didn't know any of that.
I did not either. I thought that it was going to be, I mean, some of it was dark. I thought it was going to be a little bit worse. It was like a really sad tale that had a happy ending.
Yeah, I expected her to die and turn into foam, and that was the ending.
Me too.
But then he just made up these wind angels that are like Santa Claus, and
maybe at
then they go to heaven.
Yeah, they go to heaven. And I think maybe at the end of writing it, Hans got like a letter from Edvard like, hey baby, you up?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
That's a crazy tale.
If you would like to look into it yourself, my sources that I used are a Bitfranks YouTube video called The Little Mermaid's Painful Origin. I read The Little Mermaid by Hans Christian Andersen and Wikipedia page for The Little Mermaid, as well as a Literary Hub article by Gabrielle Bella called Dear Internet, The Little Mermaid also happens to be a queer allegory. And that was my long lesson. Thank you for sticking with me. Let's hear a word from our sponsors. All right, everyone. New year, new lips. I'm talking about Ralphie and Alice.
Ralphie and Alice is a vegan, organic, glamorous, sustainable beauty brand that makes lip balm for everyone.
Not only that, but they also give a shit. That is their thing. They give a shit about charities, probably causes that you also support. And I can find it extremely hard sometimes in my busy life to take care of my lips sometimes. I mean, obviously not with Ralphie and Alice by my side, but also actually donate to the causes that I really care about, just getting in the humdrum of things. And they use part of their profits every single quarter to donate to a new charity or cause. So I really like getting my activism on, kind of, my capitalism and activism on with Ralphie and Alice.
I mean, activism and skincare, like what more could millennial Gen Z cusp kind of people like us ask for? Like this is really just the perfect brand. So if you're interested in upping your skincare game and even giving a little bit back to society, check out ralphieandalice.com. Go there, use our promo code NightClassy, no spaces, just the name of this podcast, NightClassy, for 15% off your order. That is a very special offer just for us because we're special.
Kiss dry lips goodbye.
Mwah. Hello, everyone. It's my turn. So let's just get right into it. I'm going to start. So we're talking about Stephen Schussler, and he was born in 1955. And full disclosure, I know nothing about his early life because outside of what he's known for, there's no information online about this man. Oh, don't be scared. This is a fun one.
Nothing is known except for that he raped and murdered 15 people.
No. He did nothing of the sort. He's just not a very famous guy outside of what we're going to talk about. But we do know that he's always been hustling. As a young boy, he had a paper route. At 10, he waited tables at a summer camp. When he was 13, he was a maitre d'.
What is that?
I think it's like a fancy host of a restaurant.
Oh, I think okay. He's got that maitre d'.
He give me at 13. Oh no. So when he was 16, I guess somehow he got a special permit to sell chocolate at Shea Stadium. So he just kind of knew the restaurant industry. He knew how to finagle, and he was working. And then he went to college. I think he went to college in Florida. And like in his early years of college, he just got this idea in his head that he really wanted to work at radio stations. He was like, this is my thing. More specifically, what he wanted to do, like his sophomore year of college, was sell radio time at Miami radio station. He was like, I think I'd be good at this.
Wait, so he was probably in college, like right at like before the 70s or so, right around then?
Right around the 70s in Miami. And so like, obviously, like you don't just like, this is a big job, selling radio time. College kids don't just get to do this job. You don't just get to apply and get this job. So he needed a plan, and he had a plan.
A man with a plan. Gotta love it.
He was a boy with a plan. He was like 20.
Boys and their toys and their plans.
He got one. He dressed as Superman. He got into a crate. And he paid 2 off-duty police officers to carry him into the office of the general manager of the radio station. And I think that the way they got in to see the general manager was because they were police officers.
Yeah, definitely. That's how they got in. Okay, time's Okay, I was gonna say times have changed, but also at the same time, oh, how times have not changed.
Yeah, he was a white male. He got to do this shit. So he got into the office and then he jumped out of the box, looked at the manager and said, "I'm your next sales Superman." That was his whole plan.
Ooh.
But it worked. He got the job and he did that job, did some other stuff. I don't know anything what he did from then until 1984.
What if I like scoped you out at a Teach for America thing and I like got myself delivered to your dorm last summer and I popped out, "I'm your new best friend."
That's basically what we did though. We locked eyes from across the room, down my drink, and the music booms. Okay, no.
Close enough.
That's something else. So, but that's basically what happened with us. We are instant best friends. But anyway, so we check back in with Steven in 1984 and he decided to move to Minneapolis. I think that's where he's from. Again, couldn't find much information about him, but he ended up opening this club called the Jukebox Saturday Night. And this was a 1950s, 60s themed club. It was super on theme. The whole thing was you go clubbing and it's like going back to the 50s.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Is it still going on?
I don't think
go
so.
there?
No,
Dang it.
I don't think we can go there. But it was cool. Steven was super detail oriented and he loved creating an experience for people. He wanted them to feel like they were stepping back in time. And he loved it. But, you know, in the early 1990s, like the club people weren't as into it anymore. And Steven started thinking of other ideas. And he had these pet tropical birds. And he'd just look at them and he'd think of ideas. And he got inspired by these pet birds. And
Okay, birds freak me out. I would not get
Really?
inspired. Yeah.
They freaked me out until I got really into TikTok this week and started following a bunch of accounts where the birds talk, and it's really cute.
I was this week's old when I found out birds are cool. No, I remember being in like a bird conservatory or whatever it's called, where it's like at the zoo and there's a bunch of birds all in one cage, and one bit my grandma like on her face, and I just had to like watch in terror as like a 4 or 5 year old.
They are kind of scary how they peck.
Yeah.
Like,
don't like it.
have you ever gone to a petting zoo and there's emus and you feed them out of your hand and they like attack your hand?
I've been bit. Yeah, I got bit by one of those too.
They're mean.
I don't have good luck with birds.
Yeah, they are pretty scary. But he had pets. He wasn't scared of them.
Good.
And he thought that his next idea, he was like looking at his birds. Okay, I've said that a lot. And he was like, a rainforest themed restaurant is what it's going to be.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
A restaurant or a cafe?
I don't know. We'll have to find out. So he told potential investors about his idea and they were super hesitant. It would be really expensive to make this. And also like, that's a super weird idea.
They're like, fun? Sounds terrible.
Yeah. But like, that's weird, right? Like, who's going to go to this? Why is it going to be a thing? We don't understand it. It sounds expensive. No, thank you. Thank you. Next. But Steven really believed in his idea, like more than a normal person. And so he wanted to have this proof of concept that he could show to investors to make them want to invest. So he turned his house into a rainforest.
Was he single?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes all the sense, actually.
Mm-hmm. He was totally single, no kids. He just, he could do whatever he wanted. And he did. He painted all the walls in his house black. He filled everything, every inch with tropical plants. He rigged it with 3,700 extension cords. He had lights, fog machines. He had speakers, to simulate the thunderstorms.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's like Alec once he needs some downlighting in the living room. It's like, we're going to IKEA.
Yeah.
We're getting all the things we need.
Exactly.
I love lighting.
Lighting and plants.
It's important.
Yeah.
I could see you being this guy in another life.
Totally.
Brings life into the space.
Mm-hmm.
And I love themes and I love theme parties.
And birds.
And I love birds, yeah.
Yeah.
Amateur ornithologist.
Do you believe in reincarnation? Has this guy died?
What are you talking about? No,
You don't believe in reincarnation?
he hasn't died.
Okay, I was thinking if he had died.
Oh, I
That he
see.
was reincarnated as me?
Yeah.
Okay, no,
Interesting.
he hasn't died yet.
I'm
And he also
sorry.
didn't die in like 1990 when Alec was born.
I didn't mean to offend. People die young.
We're
okay?
in the 90s. We're in the 90s at this point.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Kat and I just look at you and we're both like, how dare you?
That's what it felt like. Honestly, that's what it felt like.
Get used to it.
If I wasn't a mermaid, I'd cry right now.
Moving on, he had artificial waterfalls put into his house, rock formations. He had, some animatronic animals. And he also, what? Are you going to say something?
I no.
No. You know where this is going. He also had real animals. He installed 9 300-gallon fish tanks. He bought 45 tropical birds. Living ones.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. He had an iguana. He bought a 150-pound tortoise and a baboon. Like
Okay.
a for real baboon that he changed the diapers of.
That's okay. That part is not really cool. It's like cool that he had real animals, but also not cool that they were in his house. Like it's a cool idea, but he didn't have to. I feel like he didn't have to go that far for proof of concept.
He went like as far as he possibly
He
could.
went all the way. This was not just the tip.
No, this was the full shaft. So he had a bunch of animals. He put a greenhouse laboratory on his roof. So he had this like living greenhouse. He put a full bar and tables up there. He's like, this is what it'll look like. And he put a bunch of live butterflies in this rooftop greenhouse. And he bred them, quote, to determine how long they would survive and if they would fall in the food. So originally he was planning on having butterflies in the restaurant.
Cool.
And
the homeowners association like sends him multiple letters, but it's not like complaints. It's like, how do you do this?
right. Can I come over?
Yeah.
Please?
Can I come over after school?
I mean, imagine the parties he probably had. Like, can you want me to take you to my rooftop butterfly garden and to my full bar and we'll make martinis and hang out with the butterflies?
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
I don't know what this guy looks like, but he got laid.
Yeah. Maybe that was the whole goal after all. And if you haven't guessed, this was the prototype for the Rainforest Cafe. And, he did all of this stuff to his house and he had money because, he made this club and he was like in the restaurant industry, opening restaurants. But it was still really, really expensive, which was tough. So his electricity bill was sometimes up to $2,000 per month.
Oh my gosh.
Which it doesn't maybe seem like too much now, but it was 1994. And in October, he had the highest electricity bill out of any resident in Minnesota. And
Did he live in a huge house or was it just average?
I don't know. I didn't see any pictures or any mention of this. My guess is that it was not a mansion. I don't think he definitely was rich because he was able to do this, but there were times when he couldn't pay his electricity bill and it was $2,000 a month. So
That's
he wasn't
a reasonable amount to not be able to pay.
Right. But it's not like he was a millionaire,
Yeah.
He was upper middle class for sure. Definitely wealthy, but not crazy rich.
You guys get home Monday after work and I'm rigging up a waterfall down the stairs. And I'm I've decided I'm going to invest all of my guilt-free spending money into a Rainforest Cafe for our house.
Oh my God, I would support you. I would not give you any money, but I'd be if you're going to do this, I'm on board.
You'd experience it with me. Okay, good to know. I mean, we're practically in the outdoors in our house sometimes.
True,
anyway.
true. Just put it in the basement and it'll be an improvement. But anyway, so I don't know if you thought about this, but if you have the most expensive electricity bill in all of the state, that's kind of fucking sus. Because what the electricity company thought was this man is definitely growing marijuana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you have to have the lights and the heat on all the time. And so they sent the Drug Enforcement Agency to his house and they bang, showed up at his door. And he was like, no, this is just my rainforest.
They're oh, he's definitely on drugs.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's growing them, but he's on them.
He's on them. But they didn't find anything, obviously. This took Stephen 3 years And like we said, it was expensive. It cost $400,000 before it was to the point where he was like, I can show this to people and they're going to be impressed. So it was definitely a labor of love. It took a while.
He surely believes in himself, which a good salesman should. Whatever they're selling, you've got to be able to get behind with confidence.
He had confidence.
With $400,000.
And so he put all this money into it. And in Steven's mind, he was like, this is so amazing that as soon as I show it to someone, they're going to invest immediately and I'm going to be like, rolling. He's like, it's going to be good to go. How could you say no to this? But unfortunately, that was not true. People said no.
Yeah, because he looks like a crazy person.
Yeah, he looks like a crazy person. And like, it's a weird idea and a ton of money. Like the animatronics, the plants, the animals. He insisted that there would be live birds in these restaurants and butterflies. And people were like, no, like for one, that's so expensive. And also like, will that happen? Like with the health department? How do you have live birds in a restaurant? No, thank you.
Yeah. What if I was like, hey guys, come up to my room. I have an under the sea experience. I'm going to open up a restaurant and everything's just wet. And there's like a dolphin flapping around on the floor.
And a baboon in the diaper smoking a cigarette.
In the diaper. And there's like, I've like got some people out sunbathing underneath one light in the corner. Like it's the beach. A restaurant.
Just close your eyes and it feels like you're at the beach.
Yeah,
There's thunder. We got thunder.
I've got my space heater on. It's like 90 degrees in my room.
Hey, I'd be there.
It's
Our
an
house is
experience.
cold. Yeah, it's an experience.
I'm not going to say good or bad, but it is.
You'll know you're in my room when you're in my room.
Yeah. It's unlike any other. I have postcards. It's just like me badly photoshopped in front of a glitchy looking beach.
Cute. Well, so no one wanted to invest, but he kept going for longer. And his neighbors started to get worried about him. They're like, what the hell is happening over there?
Now they're worried about him.
They've been worried about him. The timeline is a little convoluted, but they were like, is he running a brothel? Because like the lights are on all the time and like it just looks weird in there. There's always people in and out. Is he growing weed? Like what's happening? Then they figured out like that wasn't the case. And then they're like, this man needs help. So the neighborhood chipped in money to get him an appointment with a psychiatrist.
Oh my God. Wow, that's really nice of them.
Yeah, really nice of them. Must be a good community. But like they were concerned.
They don't just talk to
I think they talked to him and he's like, I made my house into a rainforest. And they're like, oh no, get that man some help.
Oh, that's interesting. He wasn't like, here's why.
Well, I'm sure he was, but like still
it's still crazy.
It seems crazy. Like it seems like a delusional pipe dream. But Steven didn't give up. He decided that after being told no by a bunch of investors, he was like, the way I'm going to make this work is by convincing professional poker player Lyle Berman to invest in it. And he didn't know Lyle personally. He just picked him out. And Lyle did have a lot of money. He co-founded the Native American gambling company called Grand Casinos, Inc. He was just like a casino investor with a bunch of money. He played poker. And Steven was like, this is my guy. He's like, I got to get his attention. So to do this, he sent his father to Las Vegas. And in Las Vegas, Lyle was playing in the Las Vegas World Poker Championship. You know, a televised event. You're just like, Dad, go find him. Tell him about my idea.
Why did he send his dad?
I don't know. I think he was too busy taking care of his animals.
And all his plants.
Yeah.
$400,000 worth of equipment.
Exactly. Like this became a full-time gig. Yeah. So Lyle ended up taking a break from his poker tournament and Steven's dad sneaked under the red rope in the casino and like made it to Lyle. And he got up to Lyle, handed him not a $15, that doesn't exist, a $50 bill, and pitched him the idea for the restaurant. And Lyle was like, okay, dude, like I'm on my break, but like, okay, like here's my business card. You can call my assistant and talk to them about it. Bye. So Steven called him up. And Lyle was like, like, I don't really care. Like, this does not sound like a good idea. But Steven was like, I'm just going to have my dad keep bothering you if you don't agree. And so Lyle was like, okay, fine. Like, I'll come meet you.
Okay.
And so like, that's a little weird. But over the years, Lyle kept visiting Steven's house. He kept going over there, checking it out, but kind of stringing Steven along. He like wouldn't invest, but like thought it was fun. Like
he liked the vibe.
Yeah, he liked going over there, drinking in the like rooftop butterfly bar.
He's like, I like the vibes, I like the plants. Not a fan of the bird shit in my queso, but overall, I'll give it 7 out of 10.
Yeah, overall, it's pretty cool. I like it. But Steven was spending all this money. He needed money. Lyle wasn't investing, so eventually Steven was like, "Hey, can I have a job?" And Lyle agreed. So Steven ended up building 2 restaurants for Lyle. And that's a big deal. But after Steven built the restaurants, Lyle still wasn't investing. And he was like, fuck you, dude. Like, you've been stringing me along. I just built these restaurants for you. It's now or never to make a decision. But he didn't just say it's now or never. Steven was a man of big gestures.
Oh, no.
What he did was he drove to Lyle's office. But before going in, he put on a sign that said, Lyle made me do it.
He pulled a T-Swift. Ooh, look what you made me do.
Kind of.
Okay, sorry.
He went into the office and told Lyle that he was going to kill himself wearing the sign that said, Lyle made me do it, if he didn't give him the money to open his restaurant.
That is so wrong.
Yeah.
On all the levels.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, sir, no.
Please, God, no. Why?
Why? But again, it worked.
What? No, why didn't... Oh, does he need help actually? Like we keep saying he seems like a crazy person. This seems crazy.
I mean, crazy? I don't know. There's not a lot of information on him. So like I'm elaborating a lot from my own mind. But this is how at least it says it went down. So Lyle said, I'm in, and gave him $1.3 million. And they got started. So the first location was to be in the Mall of America in Minnesota. This was the largest shopping mall in the United States. So they started building it, but Steven ended up going like in the midst of building $1 million over budget. So his budget was $1.3 million. I don't know if that was his budget, but that's how much Lyle gave him. And so he spent an extra $1 million of Lyle's money.
Wow.
And Lyle was not happy. He called Steven into his office and he's like, hey, so you've gone over budget. What I want you to do is go to Blockbuster and check out the movie Bugsy. And I want you to take it home and watch it. Have you ever seen the movie Bugsy?
I have not.
I haven't either, but in the synopsis, basically the movie has these 2 guys and they ride around in limos. They can't afford it, but they're in these limos. They spend a bunch of money. They buy their girlfriend's fur coats. And in the end, they get killed for spending all this money. They end up chopped up in their own trunks. So this was a threat. That's
a really creative way to threaten someone.
Uh-huh. Somebody come get this man.
Because of wearing a T-shirt. His T-shirt says, go watch Bugsy.
Mm-hmm.
Read it and weep.
Read it and weep. This is a big threat. Steven got the message. He was like, okay, I'm not going to fuck with this guy anymore. They finished up the building. And by February 1994, the first Rainforest Cafe was done. And it was a huge success. Within a week, there was a 3-hour wait to get a table. And there's probably some people listening who have never been to a Rainforest Cafe. Like when these things were opened, there were a few theme restaurants. There was like the Hard Rock Cafe had just been opened a few years earlier, but there wasn't really anything like it. And I don't think there's been much like it since. Like this became a sensation. People walked in, were blown away. And we were born in the late 90s, and like the early 2000s is kind of the heyday of Rainforest Cafe. And it was a truly amazing experience as a kid. In the front, there was like a pond and a giant crocodile, and it was animatronic. And as a kid, I thought it was real. And then you go in and there's a gift store and it's huge. And then you go, like, you hang out in the gift store because there's always a wait to get your table. And then you go in and it's like dark and steamy, and there's like rainforest noises. You've been to Rainforest Cafe, right?
I've walked past one, but I don't think I've ever dined in one.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I think the closest thing I've gotten to a themed restaurant is probably just Hard Rock Cafe.
Okay.
After COVID, we can drive to the one in Nashville as a field trip.
Oh my God.
We have to go because it is actually so cool. Like, I had all my birthdays there as a kid. I was obsessed. They are so cool. And it's truly an experience. All the wait staff is like dressed up as if they were like safari guides. I don't know. And like every 17 minutes, there's a thunderstorm, and like it thunders and lightnings and goes dark, and then like all the gorillas start pounding on their chests and making noise, and all the animals, like it's full of animatronic animals, and they all freak out. It is really, really cool. And if you've never been, like, look up some videos on YouTube of Rainforest Cafe. You probably won't be that impressed from the videos, but like, it's cool.
It's different in person, like most things are.
Exactly. And I also haven't been to one since I was a kid, but like as a kid, it was like the best thing ever. And again, like I was saying, there's animatronic animals. They have gorillas, elephants, birds, snakes, all kinds of stuff. It's cool. And at the original Rainforest Cafe, they had live animals, just like Steven wanted. They had live tropical birds with animal handlers that walked them around to entertain guests. They'd go up to the tables.
So they weren't just flying all around?
No.
Okay, because that is something I was concerned about.
No, that wouldn't be okay, because then they probably would poop on the food. But
yeah, they're like, we'll just take a chance. Make a risk.
Yeah. And I mean, they were carried around. There weren't butterflies, unfortunately. The cafe employed safari guides, which were servers, tour guides, which were hosts, pathfinders, retail workers, navigators, which were the bartenders, and safari assistants, who are the bussers.
I wish we called all navigators or all bartenders navigators. Like, I need you to navigate my night. And they're like, okay, where do you want to go? You want to be like a 1 to a 2, or like, are we talking 8 to 9? What kind of drunkenness?
Right. They're navigating something.
And they just like, I don't have to keep reordering. They just know where to take me.
That would be nice. But bottom line is, these people were all in costume. And then like the curators, which were the full-time animal keepers, they had like a full-time animal staff that took care of the animals. This wasn't just like your shitty shift as a server. You have to carry around a bird. Like, these birds were well taken care of, because Steven had his own pet birds. He appreciated birds and like had these people to take care of them. There were also facility operators that ran the animatronics. There was a full control room to control the animatronics.
Cool. So it wasn't just on a timer.
It was on a timer.
Oh.
But like, it still had to be monitored, because there was so much robotics. And also, if like one of the gorillas broke, you can't just like call a random mechanic to fix it. You had to have someone who knew the machinery on hand to be able to help fix it. So it was like quite the production. Also, like, back to the animal caretakers, this was a really big deal because there weren't a lot of well-paying jobs for animal handlers. But at this place, like, this was a really good job. It was an easy gig and well-paying. Like, you were working for a major corporation, not just like a backyard zoo. And it was a sweet gig. They had like national like curator conferences for the animal handlers for the Rainforest Cafe. It became a whole thing. The first year the restaurant was open, they had a goal of making $5 million in sales, but they ended up making $13.5 million.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way they had to have made more. They spent how much on it? That's
Yeah, a couple million.
One restaurant made 13
One
million?
restaurant in 1 year.
Wow, that is amazing to just think about, like one drop in someone's mind, how not only did he take action on it, but to see it ripple out and affect other people's lives.
Yeah.
Even though he kind of had to seem crazy.
Right.
And
He
make some threats to get there.
Yeah, he put in his time, and it did, in this case, it really did pay off. They expanded to locations all over the US. There are currently 27 Rainforest Cafes worldwide. Most of them are in major cities in the US. The Seattle area used to have one, but now it's closed. They also have one in Paris, Dubai, Jakarta, and Tokyo. There is one at Disneyland, and this one is tiered like a pyramid, and you take an elevator to your table.
Ooh.
It's fancy.
Like our Memphis pyramid.
Yeah, like our Memphis
the Bass Pro Shop.
just like the Bass Pro Shop, shaped like a giant glass pyramid that we have here in Memphis.
So crazy that it's in Memphis.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Well, Memphis is a city in Egypt.
Well, yeah, but that it's a Bass Pro Shop
Oh,
is
yeah,
what
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
make
yeah,
sense
yeah.
to me. Because like, yeah, we're in Tennessee, but this is more city than it is country, like the rest of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bass Pro doesn't make sense.
It does not make sense. Also, like, the whole thing was just the whole thing in
A whole debacle.
Yeah, a whole debacle. And like, it makes sense that the Disney one was fancy, but like these things, their main locations, they're usually in shopping malls for like casual dining. And so like it was a revolutionary idea that something this wild would just be in shopping malls all across the United States for everyone to enjoy.
That's how I feel about Auntie Anne's. Like, what a delicacy. I can just walk up and buy hot pretzels.
Do not compare Rainforest Cafe to Auntie Anne's.
I've never had it. I don't have any way to compare.
I'm
It's
upset.
I think it just shows how much I love hot pretzels.
I guess. But like, this does not compare. I want to make this very clear to anyone who's never been to a Rainforest Cafe. They are not comparable.
You think Auntie Anne spent $400,000 in her own house making that vibe?
No, and I think it's better for that reason.
Okay.
You don't have to submit to
Okay.
capitalism.
Okay. Also, fun fact, like when I was a kid, there like wasn't anything vegetarian on the kids menu. So I like couldn't even eat there, but I still would go there for every birthday just because I liked it in there, and I'd just eat like French fries or something.
Oh, that's pretty cute.
Yeah.
My birthday place was Olive Garden.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one. I want some Olive Garden.
Me too. You
Sounds
guys need to go for
delicious.
your anniversary.
I know we do.
We do.
Maybe this weekend. So the company ended up going public in 1995 and sold stocks at $6 per share. But by 1996, stocks were $50 per share. So they multiplied by more than 10 times in a year. And that's pretty huge. The very same year, they opened a location at Disney World in Orlando and another in Animal Kingdom in 1998. And by 1999, each location was making $8 million per year,
Oh my God.
which was the most revenue per spot of any restaurant in the United States.
What if you're like an additional Disney scandal? One of the animatronic alligators did eat someone.
Oh my God. When I was a kid, my mom told me that the alligator was real because it really looks real. And every like 5 minutes or so, it opens its mouth and goes, ah. And it was so scary because I thought I was going to be eaten every time.
The only way I can possibly relate to that is walking into Red Lobster and they would have like their fake desserts out on a cart and you would like go to touch it and the chocolate cake was just hard because it's plastic.
Why would you touch a dessert?
Because I had to know if it was real or not.
Well, good thing they weren't.
Yeah, good thing. I'm guessing you did not get that opportunity with a crocodile or
No,
alligator.
but you would throw pennies at it.
Oh, okay.
And you try to get the penny into its mouth. It was
Yeah.
a whole thing. It was a whole thing. So sadly, this wild success was pretty short-lived. Stephen did end up selling the company to Landry Restaurants in 2000. And this is a company that owns over 500 restaurants, hotels, casinos. They own Bubba Gumps and Blue Water Grill. So, it's a big company. Landry changed some of the things, including the menu options. They changed some of the decor. They also got rid of the live birds. So like nowadays, Rainforest Cafe does not have any live animals. And the live birds cost every location $100,000 a year to maintain because they had salaried bird keepers.
Yeah,
full
but
time.
They're making $8 million a year. I'd say that's worth it.
Right. And Steven thought it was worth it too. He was really upset when they got rid of the birds. He writes, quote, "Of course, I didn't agree with Landry's decision. I felt the marketing value of the birds alone justified their cost." And I would have to agree. Like, I've never been to a restaurant that has live birds, especially in a shopping mall. Like, and I mean, that probably isn't fair to the birds, but it was still like a big draw for the restaurant. Also because you have to wait in line to get into that restaurant for a hella long time. So it'd be nice if like live birds were being brought to you to see.
It'd be nice if there was a reason to wait in line besides the good food and ambiance and everything else.
And the food is not very good. But
it's not.
No.
Oh no.
No, it's like a Red Robin, but like not as good.
Oh, really?
Food. Yeah.
Dang it.
It's
All
not,
right.
The food isn't great, but like you go for the ambiance.
When COVID is over, we can go and get some apps. Call it a day.
Go to Nashville.
And then we'll go to Auntie Anne's for our entree.
Oh my gosh, we should start saving now for like a really badass Nashville trip once COVID is over.
We need to start saving now for a really badass, really big city that's not an interstate trip.
New Orleans.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
in for New Orleans.
I want to go to New Orleans so bad. Okay. But anyway, so a lot of the creators also felt that removing the live birds took away from the soul of Rainforest Cafe. People were upset about these birds, and maybe they were right. Rainforest Cafe is no longer as successful as it once was. They've closed a lot of their locations. This can also be explained by the decline in the popularity of shopping malls. But either way, Steven went on to do things after Rainforest Cafe. He opened up a restaurant called the T-Rex Cafe, which was basically a Rainforest Cafe, but with dinosaurs.
Oh, like in Parks and Rec?
What? Oh, yeah. It's just like Parks and Rec. Yeah. Just like that. But like people say it was even more spectacular than Rainforest Cafe. So this one was supposed to be really cool. He also ended up selling that to Landry after he got it up off its feet. And
wow, look at him just having little passion projects and selling it.
Yeah,
that would be great.
He's doing just fine. As of January of 2017, he was 62 years old, and Steven says he has more than 10 projects on the pipeline. He has made other theme restaurants, including Yak and Yeti, which is lodge themed, Betty and Jones, Hot Dog Hall of Fame, Galaxy Drive-In, and Backfire Barbecue. A lot of his restaurants are at places like Universal Studios and Epcot and Disney. He is like a major theme restaurant designer. So he's doing just fine.
You should make like a Waffle House 2.0 that's just like dirty themed. I don't know. That joke needs development. Have you ever been to Waffle House though?
I think we went to Waffle House. Didn't we go after we went to that haunted house last year?
Oh yeah.
That was my first time in a Waffle House, and I was so tired. And do you remember the people sitting like at the booth behind us? They showed us all their cell phones, and they told us to pick a cell phone, and that person had to pay for the meal.
I totally forgot about that until this very moment.
Yeah. I only remember because it was my first time in a Waffle House.
Yeah. Waffle House is like notoriously dirty.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know.
Anyway, that was a proud moment for me because it was like a bunch of girls and one guy at the table. And so I picked the phone that looked like it belonged to the guy so that to make him pay, and it was him. And
good job. Good job. What made it look like a guy?
It didn't have a cute case on it.
Oh,
yeah, well, it was pretty easy.
You assumed the gender of the phone.
I did. Phone cases, I guess, sometimes have gender. But anyway, so he's successful. He loves creating attractions for people and making a mark on society. He says it means so much to him that people have enjoyed his creations so much. It's still like mind blowing to him that they'll buy things from his gift shops. This is a passion for him, of course, and it's a lifelong passion. We see that from the time he was a child wanting to work in the restaurant industry. He's written a book called It's a Jungle in There, Inspiring Lessons, Hard-Won Insights, and Other Acts of Entrepreneurial Daring. And that is the story of Steven Schussler and the Rainforest Cafe.
Wow. I love that. I would have never known that. Had you not told me about it just
Right.
now? And now we have to go to a Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah, we have to. I want to go. We need to go before because they'll probably close at some point. But I need to see it one last time.
One last time.
One last time. And once I went to Nashville, and there's a restaurant right by the Opry where it's underwater themed, and like everything in there is fish tanks. And that was also, I think, made by him. Because when we asked them about it, they're like, yeah, it's the same maker as the Rainforest Cafe. So I think he also made that one,
Probably.
which was a really cool experience.
We should see which city has the most amount of restaurants made by him and then go to that one and just do a tour day. What's his name?
Steven Schussler.
Tour day Steven Scheschler.
That would be fun. I'd be down. My sources are an article from bizjournals.com called 2016 Eureka Inventor of the Year, Steven Schussler by Nancy Kuhn, a biography of Steven Schussler from StevenSchusslerCreative.inc, an article from Adweek.com called What Was Rainforest Cafe Owner Steven Schussler's Secret to Raising Capital? Insanity by Devin Glenn, Wikipedia, and an Atlas Obscura article called The True Story of Rainforest Cafe is Even Wilder Than You Thought by Lindsay Weber. And that's it, folks.
Wow. Thank you so much. I can't wait to go to eat some mediocre food at an amazing restaurant. And I think that's all we've got.
Yeah, that's all we got. If you enjoyed this, please rate, review, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, tell a friend. And if you want some extra bonus content and want to keep us afloat, maybe like send a little tip our way, you can go to our Patreon. Link is in the show notes. Thank you guys so much for listening. And 3, 2, 1, class dismissed.
How in the world did you hear about that?